Clearly, the changes to pensions have meant that everyone has gone scrabbling through the bottom drawer to find old pension contracts, and you can see that in something like a 30% increase in inquiries to the pension tracking service. And what they then come back with is, and as happened to me last week, a client comes along and says, I've got this old scheme, now what do I do? The difference between what the legislation says and what the providers will let you do are two completely separate things. When it comes to these old schemes, what do? The chances are that you might have to look at a pension transfer to a new scheme. And if you were going to do that, you're going to have to be careful around, are there any penalties to leave the old contract? And are there any guarantees or safeguarded benefits that you're going to leave behind? One of the changes that's happened in April 2015 is when we look at transfers into offshore schemes, so to something like a cure ops. Now, when we look at that, there could be some very good personal reasons why you would do that, but you now have to consider that most offshore schemes aren't as flexible as UK schemes, as the changes were a bit of a surprise to the rest of the globe. And you've really got to be asking yourself, certainly prior to age 75, whether it would be the most appropriate thing for you to do. I think you also have to be careful that one of the things that sort of got turned on its head is suddenly now, if you're going to transfer out of a scheme that's a defined benefit or a final salary pension scheme, you're actually going to need a UK advisor, and not only a UK advisor, but a UK pension transfer specialist to sign off on ultimately a piece of advice that's probably has been given somewhere else in the world, which is really unusual. You know, basically we now have a UK regulator regulating part of the advice process that happens not in these shores.